Hello, welcome to day 20 of social distancing at home workout. If you guys have been joining me, welcome again. You know what I do. If this is your first day or if you're not familiar with what this is not a workout designed for like, this is a workout you should do kind of thing. This is the workout that I do. So I'm working myself out at home, and you guys are welcome to join in. You're welcome to do what I do. I tend to talk a lot about why I do what I do, or why I'm thinking about certain elements of it in a certain way. In the content that I produce, I have something that's called Sylvie's Technique Vlog, and this is basically taking things that I'm working on at any given time and making a vlog about it. It's not really a like demo of this is how you do this move, but more because I've been working on this move, these are all the different elements of how I've been adjusting it, what I've learned from it, what's cool about it, the mistakes I've made in it, like that kind of thing. That's what my technique vlog is. I always do a free version that's short, that's basically just a little package like this is what I'm working on and these are some interesting things about it, that's free to the public. And then I always have a longer version that's just for my patrons to thank them for supporting me in the way that they do. So this workout is kind of like a live Sylvie's technique vlog, because I'm always talking about the techniques as I'm thinking about them, what I'm doing. And what I really have been trying to drive home for these past 20 days of working out at home is that we can get better in this time that we're away from our gyms. This is not a like, I don't have any equipment and I don't have a teacher, so I'm basically just going to do sit-ups and push-ups and nothing else, because that's the only thing that I can do without kind of other people's input. But that's not true at all. You can actually get better. Like, you can improve your technique and you yourself can focus on your technique. And what the coolest thing about all of it is that because it's so pared down, and if you actually use your mind correctly in the way that you train, if you don't zone out and kind of like just trying to get the work done kind of thing, we all have days like that. That's okay if you have days like that, but it shouldn't be the bulk of it. If you can focus your attention on feeling what you're doing, feeling why a technique feels good or why it feels bad, or like why that kick had more power on it and the other one didn't, not only are you learning how to feel a lot of things and self-diagnose, that's going to help you forever. Like, you're learning how to learn. You're kind of honing your ability to learn at home, which I think is incredibly cool. And I've been doing this for a really long time. I've been making videos for a really long time. I've learned from some really incredible people. I've been incredibly fortunate in that sense, and because I feel very gracious and fortunate to have that kind of access, I've done as much as I can to share as much of that as possible. But even me, even now, who has a lot of exposure to a lot of different techniques and understandings and the way my brain works, and coming from the West but learning in Thailand, my brain has these two sides that I really understand what's being taught in a lot of different ways. I'm still me getting better now by feeling where I'm at in my like social distancing isolation den of training. So I'm getting better too. I'm using the time to focus on my balance and being able to like feel things more, because it's just too distracting at the gym because there's so much going on. It's Jack Slack calls it a trade-off. I really like this term. A lot of people who do kind of analysis of techniques or styles or whatever, they're like, you can't do this technique because this other thing will happen. And what I like about Jack Slack's word trade-off is like, it's not a rock, paper, scissors situation. You can use a technique that has a counter to it, and that's the trade-off. The trade-off of using that technique is that someone else has this kind of counter, but you can risk it, maybe they're not going to use it kind of thing. So the trade-off, the gym has lots of things that are really amazing that we all get better having access to, but the trade-off is there's a really heavy current, like it's sweeping by really fast. Being at home is very boring. You don't have someone correcting things for you. You don't have necessarily new input unless you're watching videos and looking for more exposure to different techniques and stuff like that. But the trade-off, the really good thing about that is that because it's so toned down, it's really pared down to the bare bones of it, you can improve some very, very deep fundamental things about yourself that are going to help you in everything that you do after that. if this is your first time joining me, I do a lot of high rep at home. The reason I do high repetition is because it allows you to feel your way through techniques, and by not stopping and trying to get them correct all the time, the corrections come over the span of doing so many repetitions and continuing on even with the mistakes. So you go from mistake to corrections, mistake, correction. People who do jiu-jitsu might be familiar with this, where like you don't drill things, but as you continue to roll and change positions and things, you actually win and lose and win and lose and keep moving. Clinching is like this. And so I think that the benefits of that, of a mistake not being a reason to stop, and doing something correctly is also not a reason to stop. It's not like, oh, that was the best kick ever, now I don't have to do another one. You keep going. Like, you let the mistakes and the finesse kind of blend together. So that's why I do high repetition. I'm going to be... So the kapidoy ha diesel is on. Now I'm nervous. This is terrible. So I'm going to be doing 500 elbows from Yod-Kun Pan, the way that he just goes back and forth. I got a question on my YouTube of a couple of days ago. Someone was asking me why I have like a pretty neutral stance when I'm throwing my elbows. I've answered this question before in previous home workouts, but people aren't seeing all of them. The reason you do it from a neutral stance, one, is because these elbows are largely in the clinch, and when you're clinching, largely you're going to be in a neutral stance. There are some people who clinch in stance, but they are very, very few, and they are not really clinch fighters. So when you clinch in general, you're more in a neutral position, and these elbows are from an elbowing clinch range. And two, the fluidity of it is way more important than anything else. So the like relaxation and like getting the elbows to just go, because what I'm trying to ultimately get out of it is the feeling that my elbows can come at any time. I don't want to be thinking, oh, now I can elbow. I want the elbow to just come. Like, I don't even have to think it first. There's no lost in translation time there. And then the knees that I do against the wall are from Dieselnoy, who might still be watching, and Chamuk Pet. Both of them teach to do knees on the ropes, and I don't have ropes, so I made up to do it against the wall, because I do have a wall. We all have walls, so we can all do this. But it's nice because you don't have to hit anything. Like, if you don't have anything to knee, you don't have a bag, you don't have a person, you don't have a pad, you're just doing them in the air, but you're doing them in a very realistic range of how high you want them to be when you're at close range with an opponent. So you're working on a very realistic technique instead of a stand-in technique, but you're able to do it literally anywhere as long as you have a wall. You can do them in space too, but it would be very hard because you're kind of trying to like hold something in order to really be able to throw the knees up high. Kevin's been telling me that I need to be way more forthcoming about when I go behind the camera to read comments and to read them out loud, so I'm going to try to remember to do that. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go behind the camera, see if there are any comments or questions, read them out loud if there are some that I can answer. Michelle says hello to Dieselnoy. The brother of one of the guys at my gym is watching. That's interesting. Caro is watching. Hi, Caro. Yverne, hello. Jeremy from France. Michael Clark, hi. All right. So, if you guys want to get up and join in, that is awesome. You can totally do that. You don't have to do 100 at a time. That's what I'm doing. You can do fewer or you can do more, whatever. Pick your number. But because Dieselnoy is watching and now I'm all nervous about it, something that Dieselnoy makes a point about, and I have heard and I listen to, is that every single moment is high intensity. You can be exhausted and you can be kind of like pulling from the bottom of your barrel, but you perform, I can do this all day. So that's kind of this thing I was talking about yesterday about Roop, about like keeping your posture. So this can be between things too. So because Dieselnoy is watching and he's still going to complain either way, I'm going to try to have my Roop be badass even between things. So like when I go and I get my water and I'm doing things like this and talking to you guys, I'm going to try to have my like energy that Diesel Noi has taught at my gym when he was coming 3 days a week for 6 months. We did this as part of the Preserve the Legacy and Legends in Residence project, which is bringing legends in contact with contemporary Muay Thai. So we brought him down to my gym to like train our Thai fighters and advise everyone who's at the gym. And he just, every second, like he makes you push so hard on the pads, and then you have a break, and everyone of course falls apart because now you don't have to work anymore, and you go and you get your water and perform your fatigue. And Diesel Noi's like, you do not perform your fatigue. You finish your rounds that are so hard, and you just breathe, go and get your water. He does not look tired in his fight against Samart. I guarantee you, and he says he was incredibly tired because of his weight cut was just insane. He said his legs just stopped working. He doesn't look tired at all. It's like incredible. You have to train that. That's not like, oh, I hope I don't look tired as I am. You have to train not performing your fatigue. And we actually all train performing our fatigue, so just stop doing that. You guys get whatever's going on in my neighborhood right now. It's either the PA system or a truck. I'm not sure which. The dogs are howling. So this is a thing that will happen in Thailand is we have PA systems around our neighborhood. They're for announcements like if there's flooding or emergency announcements or something like that, but they'll also play music on holidays or like the royals' birthdays or something. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Chakri Day was on Monday. It's Saturday, so I'm not sure what this is, but welcome to Thailand. This is an interesting thing that happens. Lou says watching with his Muay Thai fighting daughter. That's awesome. Hello to both of you. I'm sorry your Thailand training holiday was canceled. And I lived in Germany. I lived in Berlin for a little while, and my brother lived in Bayern, so in Regensburg. So we both speak German, but we speak different German. So liebe Grüße to Germany. Enjoy the music. I did. Diesel noise between everything.
โควิด -19 คือไวรัสโคโรนาที่องค์การอนามัยโลกถือเป็นการระบาดของโลกทำให้มีอาการไข้ไอเจ็บคอ
This is an announcement explaining what the symptoms of COVID-19 are.
ไข้ 37.5 องศาขึ้นไปร่วมกับอาการของระบบทางเดินหายใจ
So if you have any of these symptoms, you need to call a number.
อีกทั้งใกล้ชิดหรือสัมผัส
It's very upbeat. It actually sounds very positive.
สัมผัสเชื้อเข้าสู่ตาจมูกปากติดต่อกันผ่านละอองฝอยจากไอและจามการปฏิบัติตัวป้องกันโควิด -19
Lou says, "Vielen Dank, liebe Grüße zurück." Thank you. Helen is watching.
อยู่บ้านหยุดเชื้อ
Hi,
เพื่อ
Helen.
ชาติหากพบผู้มีเหตุสงสัยว่าป่วยมีอาการต้องแจ้ง
Helen and I have fought on the same card
337
more than once. I feel like we fought on the same card twice.
COVID-19 is a coronavirus.
Now you get it in English.
Announced as an infectious disease. Symptoms such as
PSA
cough,
for you guys.
sore throat, having breathing problems. Some severe case of symptoms may lead to death. Symptoms having temperature of more than or equal to 37.5 Celsius. Include with symptoms of respiratory system such as cough, runny nose, sore throat, difficult breathing. Also, a person who gets close or contact with COVID-19 patient could be infected. How the disease spread. Hand contact, disease to eye, nose, or mouth. Contact through droplet particles from coughing or sneezing. Preventing oneself from COVID-19, wear mask, wash hands with soap. Keep distance of 1 to 2 meters. Stay at home. If seeing someone who might be infected or show symptoms, immediately contact hotline number 1337.
I have never, ever in the time that we've lived here, gotten an English translation of an announcement that they've made on the PSA. It's the first time ever. So, it's also the first time we've ever heard this. Usually those are just for holidays and stuff. So, you guys were experiencing that in real time the first time we've ever experienced that also. But it's good. It was full of information, and the number to call is very easy. So.
โควิด -19 คือไวรัสโคโรนาที่องค์การอนามัยโลกถือเป็นการระบาดของโลกทำให้มีอาการไข้ไอเจ็บคอหายใจลำบากบางรายรุนแรงถึงขั้นเสียชีวิตอาการไข้ 37.5 องศาขึ้นไปร่วมกับอาการของระบบทางเดินหายใจเช่นไอมีน้ำมูกเจ็บคอหายใจเหนื่อยอีกทั้งใกล้ชิดหรือสัมผัสผู้ป่วยติดเชื้อโควิด -19 การแพร่กระจายเชื้อมือสัมผัสเชื้อเข้าสู่ตาจมูกปากติดต่อกันผ่านละอองฝอยจากไอและจามการปฏิบัติตัวป้องกันโควิด -19 ใส่หน้ากากล้างมือด้วยสบู่รักษาระยะห่าง 1-2 เมตรอยู่บ้านหยุดเชื้อเพื่อชาติหากพบผู้มีเหตุสงสัยว่าป่วยมีอาการต้องแจ้งทันทีสายด่วน 1337
COVID-19 is a coronavirus that WHO announced as an infectious disease. Symptoms such as cough, sore throat, having breathing problems. Some severe case of symptoms may lead to death. Symptoms having temperature of more than or equal to 37.5 Celsius. Include with symptoms of respiratory system such as cough, runny nose, sore throat, difficult breathing. Also, a person who gets close or contact with COVID-19 patient could be infected. How the disease spread. Hand contact, disease to eye, nose, or mouth. contact through droplet particles from coughing or sneezing. Preventing oneself from COVID-19, wear mask, wash hands with soap, keep distance of 1 to 2 meters, stay at home. If seeing someone who might be infected or show symptoms, immediately contact hotline number 1337.
Diesel Noi, all the time. Pam is watching. Pam's in Bangkok. Hello. Veronica's awesome. Been following Veronica when she was in Thailand before me. Hussein says, your technique while shadowboxing is beautiful. Thank you very much. Ramsey is asking for the mechanics of the Supergirl knee. I don't really know what you mean by the mechanics of the Supergirl knee. You have to be really close. It's not a long knee. But basically when you're already in clinch range, you want your knee to come up first, and then it's going to spear out, and occasionally it can drag down also. But so you're basically making two movements like this. So it's up and then out. You're going to have to get up on your toe. If you're flat-footed, you cannot really get the kind of driving out of that knee that you want. So it's up and out like this. And then if you spear it out and then you can drag it down the front of your opponent's body, that's basically the mechanics, the basic mechanics of that. But you have to be kind of arm locked. Like you can't really do that knee with your arms up like this. You want to be like locked in with it. So basically from a clinch here and out like that. You can do it on a bag pretty easily by like knocking the bag. So you want to have the distance that you would have with an opponent and then up and just like knock it forward. Charlie says, could you explain one of your elbows? Your arm is horizontal, but it moves vertically upward.
COVID-19 is a coronavirus that WHO announced as an infectious disease. Symptoms such as cough, sore throat,
Do you know what that
and
is?
breathing problems. Some severe case of symptoms may be death. Symptoms having temperature of more than or equal to
The arm is horizontal, but
37.5
it moves
Celsius.
vertically upward.
Include with symptoms of respiratory system.
Sorry, Charlie, I don't know which elbow you're talking about.
Difficult breathing. Also, a person who gets close or contact with COVID-19 patients could be infected. How the disease spread. Hand contact, disease to eye, nose, or mouth. Contact through droplet particles from coughing or sneezing. Preventing oneself from COVID-19, wear mask, wash hands with soap, keep distance of 1 to 2 meters, stay at home. If seeing someone who might be infected or show symptoms, immediately contact hotline number 1337.
อากาศใช้ 37.5 องศาขึ้นไปร่วมกับอาการของระบบทางเดินหายใจเช่นไอมีน้ำมูกเจ็บคอหายใจเหนื่อยอีกทั้งใกล้ชิดหรือสัมผัสผู้ป่วยติดเชื้อโควิด -19 การแพร่กระจายเชื้อมือสัมผัสเชื้อเข้าสู่ตาจมูกปากติดต่อกันผ่านละอองฝอยจากไอและจาม การปฏิบัติตัวป้องกันโควิด -19 ใส่หน้ากากล้างมือด้วยสบู่รักษาระยะห่าง 1-2 เมตรอยู่บ้านหยุดเชื้อเพื่อชาติหากพบผู้มีเหตุสงสัยว่าป่วยมีอาการต้องแจ้งทันทีสายด่วน 1337
COVID-19 is a coronavirus that WHO announced as an infectious disease. Symptoms such as cough, sore throat, having breathing problems, some severe case of symptoms may lead to death. Symptoms having temperature of more than or equal to 37.5 Celsius include with symptoms of respiratory system such as cough, runny nose, sore throat, difficult breathing. Also, a person who gets close or contact with COVID-19 patients could be infected. How the disease spreads and contact disease to eye, nose, or mouth. Contact through droplet particles from coughing or sneezing. Preventing oneself from COVID-19. Wear mask. Wash hands with soap. Keep distance of 1 to 2 meters. Stay at home. If seeing someone who might be infected or show symptoms, immediately contact hotline number 13.
That's exactly what I wanted to know. Good. Can't think of the right words. Charles, if you see me do it, Kevin's watching. Maybe you can like yell with exclamation points or something when I do it. If you've ever considered fighting Muay Thai for no, I'm not really interested in fighting in 1FC. They call it Muay Thai, but it's not really Muay Thai. I like fighting traditional Muay Thai in Thailand, so that's more what I'm into. You guys get to hear the jams over the PSA. They warn you about disease a couple of times, and then you get some jams, so enjoy that. This is Carabao. He's an incredibly famous singer in Thailand. If you're American, he's maybe a little bit like Bruce Springsteen or Willie Nelson or something. He's like that. Really? Sawasdee-ka, Smoke Pet. Smoke Pet is in Japan, and I'm doing his knees and Diesel Noise knees on the wall, so both of those teachers have dropped in at some point to watch this. It's a little intimidating. Sweaty there. Charles, Kevin thinks that you're talking about when I do a diamond guard and then elbow up like that. That's more or less the Somrak elbow. Somrak is super famous because he was an amazing boxer, but he has a lot of like side-to-side movement, so he'd go like this, like right up the center guard. I've just been naturally doing it out of the diamond guard that Kevin and I have been working on together. It just kind of flows because in the diamond guard there's a lot of like moving. So you basically have to roll your shoulder like how you would for like an uppercut in boxing. So you roll your shoulder and then come up that way, if that's the one you're talking about. Seem to be turning your body sideways, maybe in a guard position and elbowing up. Yeah, that seems like it. Chmook Pet gave a clapping emoticon for me. Thank you. Dennis, when you hook punch with your left side, do you load by pulling your left side back, or do you bring your right shoulder to your front side? When I hook left, I bring my left shoulder back and the right shoulder forward and go like this, and I try to do what Chmook Pet has taught me, not Chmook Pet, sorry, Chart Chai has taught me, is to actually step over like this on the hook. So the left shoulder comes back and the right shoulder comes forward as one piece, but the arm doesn't come back because then the shoulder's staying in place and you're kind of coming wide. So it's like if there was like a wall next to me, the shoulder goes back. Like that, for my hook. That's how I do that. They might play another Carabao. I don't know. They have that one going. I think they're going to go through this cycle of announcements a few more times, which is a little bit hard to talk over. So I hope you guys learned something about how to protect yourself against COVID from the announcements and from a few of the things that I was talking about. Thank you for your questions. The fact that they were technical and I could kind of like figure them out through talking to you guys is really cool. Definitely work on stuff when you're at home. Kevin actually just put up a highlight from when I trained with Chmook Pet. It's his second entry into the Muay Thai Library. So we have two. There's one from a few years ago and there's one from really recently when he came down to my gym. Again, part of the Legends in Residence at Petrungrung. But he's teaching those knees that I was doing on the wall here. So you can see that it's a knee is basically just an uppercut with the knee. They're incredible. Chmook Pet, just like so scary. You can hit in the solar plexus, and if you've hit your opponent and they kind of duck or they're like anticipating something, you can totally nail them right in the chin. Or if you're tall, like my friend Caro or like Diesel, you can just hit someone in the chin anyway. But yeah, so check out that highlight. If you like the highlight, maybe consider becoming a patron and going over and watching that session. It's absolutely incredible. Chmook Pet is known as Mr. Computer Knee. He's an amazing Muay Thai knee fighter, but he's also incredibly well-rounded. He just has intense ability everywhere. He could fight anyone. He fought up. He fought people bigger than him. He fought for a really long time, and something that Gansak said when he was giving his list of top 5 all-time great fighters of Thailand, because we wanted to ask the best fighters who they thought the best fighters were. So we have a playlist of like all-time greats top 5, and Chmook Pet showed up on that list a lot. But something that Gansak said about him is that not only did he fight for a really long time, but even when he was at the end of his career, he was fighting people younger than him and beating them for titles when they were younger than him. He fought forever, he fought up. He would change his style depending on who he was fighting. He's just incredibly well-rounded. And we asked Diesel Noi a couple of times, we're like, who do you think would win if these two people fought, Chmook Pet or whoever? And he was always just like, Chmook Pet, like, no question. He's so good. So definitely check him out. There are 2 sessions of him in the Muay Thai Library. And I will see you guys on the next one. I cannot believe this is day 20. That's kind of incredible. Thank you guys who have been watching. Welcome to those of you who are joining me just today. And if you guys want to go back and see what some of my other workouts are, I'm doing mostly the same things. I have some variety in what I'm working on. I have more shadow boxing in some of them, and then I have kicks and teeps and things like that I'm working on in the other ones. But I talk a lot about why I'm doing the techniques or what I'm working on specifically when I'm trying to correct them for myself. So you can get an idea of how I think about techniques and why I think about techniques the way that I do. And all of that knowledge and information and why I'm so obsessed with it and so interested in it comes from what I've learned from the absolute legends and great teachers of Muay in Thailand. They're in the Muay Thai Library. You can go learn directly from them. There's voiceover from me to help explain what's happening. But really just geeking out about technique is something that I really like doing. So thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll check one more time to see if there's any last second questions. There's your music. Thank you everyone. All right. Sorry to cut you off when they're finally getting back into Carabao, but you can YouTube it, I guess. He's got lots of playlists and they're really good. You guys can dance to it and stuff. See you later.